to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Kyle.
You ready for me?
Yes.
Okay. Morning, Kyle Helen Engineering. Giving you 3 pieces of paper. The first one kind of shows highlighted in blue what Richard Mario owns in a trust. And then he owns the remaining quarter, which is to the southwest, in him and his wife's name. He would like to come back with a preliminary and a final plat and develop some lots along Highway 150. This is approximately a couple miles north of Benton on 150 running east and west. So what we're here today is we're requesting a variance in regards to the subdivision rules, so he can split off 2 primary pieces, mainly the one primary piece that sits in the southeast quarter, the southwest quarter. The reason for the variance request is there's already been 3 splits in that quarter. So it triggers that subdivision rule. And we're trying to avoid to do a preliminary and final plat and then come back and do another preliminary and final plat. So what he's requesting in this is just to allow us to do a standard plat of survey, split this off, attach it to another plat of survey in the adjoining quarter, and then we would come back in the form of a preliminary and final plat for those lots along the highway. You know, the trigger is, unfortunately, there's already been 3 splits in that 40-acre tract. So we're just getting it into a different entity, and then we'll follow the subdivision rules, if that makes sense. Do you have any questions?
Gave us 3 sheets.
Yep, I gave you 3 sheets. So
Okay.
the first one is highlighted in blue.
Which is the first one?
This is the first one.
Okay.
This is highlighted in blue. The quarter he wants to split in is this quarter here. You can see there's already multiple parcels that are split. That
Okay.
activates it.
All right.
What he's wanting to do is, this is a close-up. It's highlighted in red with an X on it. This is what he's actually wanting to do, a standard plat of survey.
I don't know if this helps you at all, that's the.
Well, there was 3 of these, and it's like, when you said the first one, it's like, all right, which is the first one?
Yeah.
Yep, no, that's fine. And then
And number
the
3?
number 3 is basically what he has in the other quarter in a different name, but what's highlighted in red is what he's gonna merge with page 2.
Okay.
So this and this would go together. That would be a preliminary and a final plat combined, and then we would do parcels out of that.
Parcel down here.
Does that make sense?
Out of this?
Out of this and this combined.
Okay.
See, right now, this and this are in different ownership,
Okay.
and we're trying to get this and this combined all in one ownership.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
so there's no land use change at this time.
And
There's not gonna be any development at this time. We're just trying to basically get the property he wants to develop in one name. And therefore, we've gotta do 2 plats of survey.
And so right next to this is the Northfield addition, right out here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's right here,
Yep.
and this
Right
piece
there.
is bare ground right in between.
Right
Yep.
here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah,
Like Kyle said, Mr. Mario contacted me some time back, and he would like to do a development. He was advised of what we need to do to be able to do that. He would have to submit a preliminary plat with an application for a change in land use. And then he would proceed on, assuming that you guys were okay with that, with his final plat. But for now, he just, as Kyle has indicated, needs to get some other things shaped up before they would get to that point.
so are they looking to do the smaller
He just wants
lots?
to.
No, there's,
3.
he's
larger
thinking
lots.
of 3 larger lots, 3 acres or more.
Sure.
And then there'll be a 4th track. The 4th track will basically be the existing driveway into the farm and then some of the farmstead buildings. He wants that to go with the remainder of that 40 in the southwest.
Okay.
Okay?
I don't see a problem with that. That ground out there is pretty sandy.
And he's already had a conversation with the DOT in regards to access onto each one of these. parcels. There actually is 3 driveways already there that have been there for a number of years that the DOT is preliminary approved. So if we do move forward with this subdivision, each parcel would have its own access.
This is nothing that had to be sent letters to adjacent neighbors or any of that for at this point in time,
No,
correct?
not at this point.
Let's bring Gary up to speed, please.
So we're here asking for a request in regards to the subdivision rules. Richard Mario owns property here, and then he also owns this quarter here in a different name. And we're making a request because we want to divide off this little parcel down here, which is highlighted in red with an X through it. The reason for the variance is because there's already been multiple splits in this 40. That activates the subdivision rules. We want to do a subdivision, but we don't want to do it yet. We want to get all the property in question, which would be this and this adjoining property, in one entity, and then we would come back with a preliminary and a final plat and all the associated documents. So it's just kind of building the foundation to do the preliminary plat and the final plat. This is along Highway 150 running east and west, about 3 miles north of town.
It's on the north side.
Correct. So this is just a little close-up of this area here. You've got already these 2 parcels split off. What he's wanting to do is just do a standard plat of survey here. He can do a standard plat of survey here in the southwest because there's been no splits. This is activated because of the other divisions. So there's no land use change, no development going on at this time. We're just trying to get it into one entity and then come back and start following the procedures in accordance with the subdivision rules.
I don't have a problem with the variance.
Don't either.
I'll make that motion that we approve that subdivision variance for Richard Mario.
I'll second it.
Okay, by resolution,
Primer, aye.
Beer shank aye.
Seaman, aye.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank
Do
you.
you want
Can
us
I
to
hang on
sign
to
this now?
Yeah, you can.
Do you want
Thank
us
you.
to have them sign one of those now, or do you want me to?
I don't need it right now. I can get it
Pick up
in the
the
next
red.
week or 2. It's not anything critical.
Okay.
And I think I would probably record that with the plat of survey. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Yeah, that way it's on record with the plat of survey.
Okay,
Okay? But yeah, I can pick that up in the next week or 2 when
yeah, this one has red in it, so I'll put it.
I can, yeah, I can print off.
You-
I didn't know you had it in red. I didn't know if you wanted to keep it that
No,
way.
I was just having Mark look at it, so.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kyle.
Hey, Gina.
See ya.
Thank you. See you.
Gina, you're up.
So, with the city and school election being combined, we have a second-tier canvas. The second-tier canvas is to certify the other counties' information, their election on our control entities. So we have Oregon Control County for Belle Plaine, Benton Community, and Benton Shelburne, as long with City of Walford. So we have other counties that have that districts in their county, and so they have to certify it to us, so that's what we're here certifying today, the second tier canvas on this. So Benton Community District 5, Iowa County, for Teresa Ludeking had 11. District 6, for Brenda Werning for Iowa County, there was no votes across the board on that. Benton Community Public Measure, Iowa County had 7 yes, 4 no. Tama County had 25 yes, 11 no. Belle Plaine School District, Tama County had 1 for Valerie Kaufman, 2 for Rima Johnson, Powashie, 2 for Kaufman, 2 for Johnson. Iowa County, Kaufman 1, 0 for Johnson. Benton Shelburne District at Large, Buchanan County, Jennifer Berger 1 and 0 the rest. Blackhawk County, the only vote was for Audra Piatti. Benton Shelburne District 1, Buchanan County 0 across the board. Blackhawk County, Justin Najvis 2 and the rest are zeros. City of Walford, the mayor, Lynn County, Randy Bauer, 44, Bill Voss, write-in, 52, 4 write-ins. Council, Ashley Grimm, 61, Lonnie Goodwin, 21, Todd Gibbs, 28, Amy Ellis, 71, 3 write-ins. And then council vacancy, Aaron Voss, 81, and 8 write-ins. So then I'll need a motion to approve the second tier canvas.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so number 5, we had our post-election audit. We held it last Wednesday. The state picked the Bruce Cedarmont Auburn. So we would just want you guys to acknowledge that the hand count matched exactly what the machine count was. So a motion to acknowledge that we had a successful post-election audit.
And did everything matched?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll make that motion then, as long as it matched.
Second.
All in favor of the acknowledgement, right?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep, we sent them all that last week too, to the state, so this is just formality.
Everybody look at the minutes?
Yep.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
City of Van Horn law contract.
I need your signature, but I have the copy that Linda sent me, so it's not original signatures.
There should be no changes.
Cause you have the original, so here's that.
Thank you.
So you're just missing Atkins, right?
Mhm.
We're only missing the one?
Yep. And I'll call Bruce today. He is the mayor.
You guys
Pretty
can
good.
sign and get back to me then?
Is the mayor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still the mayor.
And then we'll be the mayor again.
So is the city of Atkins moving forward with law enforcement contract?
As it was at this time.
Is that satisfactory with you?
We'll visit with them, with their new mayor and their same mayor and new council. And see if they're still wanting to do extra or what they wanna do.
City of Van Horn, they have a new mayor now, don't they?
Gonna.
Going to.
Yep, it's Marty passed away. Not to change the subject, but we need to get your comp board member appointed so we can have a meeting.
Okay. I will see them again Thursday night, so.
And I don't see any conflicts when I researched that.
Okay.
because she's not any paid member or anything for
Okay.
any other thing.
And then as Haley sent us out budget sheets last week,
Yep, I'm starting to slowly get them out.
we will, again this year be requesting a increase in the contract law enforcement. And we'll bring that rate increase to the board before we send it to the cities.
When it gets close, if you want me to do the history report here, so you can do your year-to-date, that will.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Van Horn law enforcement contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just, this is just for your information, but I was listening to the radio a couple of weeks ago, and they said that a $20,000 a year job is now worth $18,000. So it's tremendous. We've had about a 10% decrease in the value of our wages.
Get your signature too.
I brought it back.
Awesome.
Stolen from.
Ben Turnus is asking too for vacation carryover. He has 24 hours. His anniversary date is November 21st, and he said he can use them by April 30th of 2022. That's okay.
24 hours,
24 hours, yeah.
3 days.
Used by April what, 1st?
30th.
Oh,
is that
30th.
one, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we carry his hours over to
Second.
April 30th.
All in favor of Ben Turnus's vacation carryover?
Aye.
Aye. Kristen.
Hello.
Do you want to initial mine?
So, this should be pretty straightforward. So, when we did the contract for Dean, as a, not an enticement basically for him to get his CDL, we offered a $2,000 wage increase if he got it. He came to me last Monday. Unfortunately, it was too late to get it on the agenda for last week. He did get it. He actually got a step above what he needed. He got a Class B. So I just wanted to get his $2,000 wage increase approved per his contract. I didn't make copies, but I've seen the document, I've seen it, and I, verified it in his contract. And I would like to make it effective, last Monday, the 8th. That would be the beginning of the payroll, as that's when he did come to me, and it was just barely too late to get it on the agenda for that week. So that would be the start of this payroll, basically.
Do you have a copy of these contracts with you? Can I see it?
Mhm. Yep.
We can start out by Rick. It's been long enough, maybe you don't wanna look
I
at it.
do recall it.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember.
It's up,
Okay,
up there.
yep. Good. Fine a day.
I'll make a motion that we do that wage increase as per agreed upon with an employment contract for Dean, effective 11/8/21.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
There you go.
You want to do number 8?
Yeah, I figured I'd stick around. I wasn't sure what the plan was. The holiday discussion, I believe it was brought to your all attention that the state made some modifications, and I believe last year, obviously prior to my arrival, I believe our holiday, Haley, you can confirm this, was updated based on what the state did. Regardless of what we decide in regards to that, we do need to, just because it's not addressed in the handbook, make a decision for Christmas. So our handbook states that if a holiday falls on a Saturday, it will get pushed to Friday. Well, Friday's already a half-day holiday at Christmas, it's Christmas Eve. So my recommendation for at least Christmas, it would just be simpler, cleaner if we followed the state, and it's only an extra half a day of pay for us as opposed to it's a basically full day of pay for them. It just makes, otherwise, if we, the way the holidays are supposed to push, that would push the half day back to Thursday, and to me, it just logically makes sense to at least follow them on that. I don't know what, your guys' thoughts are, but that would make the courthouse in this building, obviously, at least for Christmas, we would match for one more year. So we're not, staffing security for half the building and, not the majority of the other half, et cetera.
So they have the Wednesday off next week.
Yeah, and Wednesday next week too. So I don't know what your guys' general consensus is on following the state. I'm currently kind of in the process, but I'm not far enough along yet of trying to survey some of the other counties to kind of see how they're handling holidays just in general. But I'm not far enough along yet for official recommendations. but I do think at the very minimum for Christmas, it makes sense versus opening the building for half a day, getting, you know, security in when there won't be any court.
Or turning the boilers on and.
Correct.
So
Next
you're
week.
talking the 24th.
Yeah, so the
being closed.
24th is already a half a day holiday, and
Yep.
we would need to adjust, so Christmas Day is on that Saturday. So normally that Saturday holiday per the handbook, which I'm going to address as I rewrite it, would push to a Friday. Well, Friday's already a half day holiday, so then hypothetically, if we push, you know, the Saturday day to Friday and the Friday day to Thursday, or however you wanna look at it, if we did the 2 full days, it's essentially granting county employees an extra half day off to match the state, but then again, it's to not turn facilities on, you know, janitorial maintenance, security, etc. Was my thought process. So it'd be basically a half day, because we have to basically figure out how we would want to handle the holiday being on Saturday, with Friday already being a part-day
So
holiday.
normally if the holiday falls on Saturday, we automatically get Friday off.
But we're already,
And it falls on a Sunday, we get Monday off. So since it falls on the.
since it's already kind of a double,
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
least double half-day holiday, that was my thought process for that. I don't think the impact would be great, and again, you'd have some of the savings from having to have security and start up the building and all that.
So in December, you're talking closing both the 23rd and the 24th.
Yeah,
all day.
and that would match what the state does, and then again, that would be our half-day New Year's holiday, our 1 day of Christmas, and then that would just be an additional half-day to basically match the state and just keep the building shut down for the day as opposed to opening it for half a day, for part of the day. And then in terms of next week, I hadn't really given a lot of thought to that. I'm not 100% sure personally what the pros and cons are in terms of the detriment to the building and how much work is or isn't done if clerk of court's not open and the court isn't open and all that. I mean, so.
Well, typically, as far as Thanksgiving goes, weren't we open on the Friday after?
No,
Was not.
no.
Okay.
So Thursday and Friday are already holidays for us.
Okay.
If it was elected to do the Wednesday, it would be a 1 day extra. I don't have strong feelings on that. Christmas, I think, it makes sense at the very minimum to match Christmas as it's only a half day. That would be 1 extra day. And again, it just kind of depends on what we think for workload and the worth of, you know, having kind of half the building open and half the building out.
They were talking just a half a day basically on the 23rd.
Correct. Yes, that's basically what it would equate to, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that bottom line.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So I don't know if you all have opinions on next week or, you know, I guess I wasn't here for the reasoning. I don't know, did we follow
I don't
that?
think they did
here?
anything with the week of Thanksgiving.
It was
But
too
we
late.
It was too late because it was that Tuesday
Oh,
when we found out.
okay.
Yep.
So they announced it a
Yeah.
little earlier this year, sure.
But the
So,
governor sent that out to all the employees,
less.
yeah, almost 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
So.
a little while ago,
Yep.
yes.
How's that gonna affect the New Year's then?
We don't have New Year's Eve off, and they didn't, well, and actually technically, so that's the same thing. New Year's Day is a Saturday, so that will get pushed to the 31st no matter what. So we normally don't have the New Year's Eve off as a holiday, but the 1st is a holiday, it'll get pushed to the 31st because it's a Saturday. And it'll bump back to that Friday per policy and per handbook. So that's not affected at all, and their schedule wasn't affected either by that. They should hypothetically have that Friday off anyways, because I know they have New Year's Day off. So they should be on the same schedule as us for New Year's, just based on how it falls, and we have the same holidays as them at that point in the year. I think there's just a couple of times where we don't match up throughout the year.
I don't have a problem closing a half a day. It makes sense. I don't, you know, costs a lot
About
of money.
Thursday though, I mean,
Wednesday.
Thanksgiving.
I think you leave it alone. You know, they're off the,
They'll be off Thursday and Friday.
Yep, those are our given holidays already in our handbook per our benefits.
Right.
So that's nothing different, that would be the same.
that's where I say it, just leave it.
I was just wondering, let's see, Thursday is Thanksgiving then, right?
Yep,
Yeah, always.
And then closed on Friday.
Right. I was just wondering, would it be half a day on Thursday? Or not Thursday, Wednesday? If people
Then you
want
run
to
into the
travel?
same scenario,
Yeah.
you know, heating the building for half a day,
Yeah.
you know,
I guess
so
you're right.
I think you ought to just leave it alone.
Okay,
That's my motion,
okay, that's your motion.
that
So
we
leave next
clo-
week alone, close the
the
23rd.
23rd, rather than have it open for just a half a day.
Okay.
I guess I'm not real, if they gotta travel any distance, if people have to travel any distance, it would be nice to have Wednesday off. But
Are you talking for?
Which day?
For
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving?
or?
Okay, yes, and I don't know that they're full staff, don't many of the people take a personal day? I mean, you don't let everybody leave,
Right,
yeah,
I mean,
and so if they've got places to go, they can take a personal day and go.
and moving forward, I'm probably gonna kind of survey and just see the impacts if the state is closed and we're open and vice versa in terms of services, you know, ability to do work, all that. I obviously just haven't had a chance to do that. I mean, we wanna sort of do what makes sense moving forward. I just haven't got that far in my,
Previously, there was some funky days where the clerk of court was open, but the courthouse was closed. So the courthouse was actually open.
Yes.
so
half
Oh,
as in
yeah.
basically.
President's Day and Martin Luther.
Exactly.
So then that, the only thing with that is I'm sure that creates a little confusion with who comes in and
Yeah, and
creates
so,
some semi ticked off customers if they wanna come say, see clerk of court and the treasurer's office is open, well, they're gonna get yelled at because they're closed even though they're not related, so,
yeah.
so
And-
yeah.
And so it made no sense to have the clerk's office open and the rest of the courthouse closed.
Sure,
And so we aligned that.
okay,
No, actually, that one we do.
I thought we did.
cause that's what this would be,
Yeah,
right?
No, right now, we have not aligned Martin Luther. We still have
Yes.
President's Day off and the state gets Martin Luther King off.
Oh, yeah, that one is one that's one of,
That's one we've never really, we've talked about, but we've never changed the plan
Yeah.
for the
Okay.
holiday.
that one has not changed yet, which I was gonna look into that. That was
That one's funky.
yeah, that one and then Christmas Eve are the two places that, from what I know, the state differs with us,
Yeah.
which would create
Yeah.
just a little bit of oddness with like, particularly the courthouse here too, but less public coming over here to get upset about who's open and who's not, so.
so that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, what is gonna be open in the courthouse?
Everything.
Everything but the clerk's office, as of right now. All the courts are shut down. And the state offices, so state employees will have that day off as well.
I guess I'm not against it, I don't really care either way, but, I know that, well, I guess it really don't make any difference.
We got a motion though. Do you wanna second it?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You got the motion the way you wants it.
Yep,
Just
so next
Christmas.
week, leave as is,
Yeah.
and we get the extra, the 23rd off. for
Yes.
Christmas.
But they're not working Friday,
No,
No.
that's always been off.
No.
so they got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Now, that is just the courthouse and this building, obviously. This does
Yeah, cause
not
that
affect-
half won't be here,
Yeah,
will
these
be,
are all non-union entities. This
How did
doesn't
we do
affect,
that last year? Didn't some of
I
them
followed
still,
in with
you
it.
followed suit and they got to take.
you
like-
followed, secondary roads do? Include?
I don't know.
I think he might have as well. Unless, obviously, if it snows, they have to get called in and they have to address that.
Unless you have.
I really hope, I was gonna say,
I know.
no, the S word, no.
But, I mean,
Unless
that's
you have
what,
objections, I'll just follow again this year.
you give them an extra day off somewhere else too. I mean, it's a good gesture.
And I mean, and it makes sense, it would make sense for secondary road too, as again, it would be, I don't wanna say only a half day, but a half day, compared to what was already scheduled, so.
Yeah. The thing that really bothers me a little bit is if our purchasing power of our wages have went down as much as what they said on the radio, this would be a way to
Incentivize.
kinda,
Reward without
yeah.
specifically handing out.
Did you
Direct
wanna
money.
send out an email, or you want me to?
I can.
Okay. That way everybody knows.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody's watching this meeting, so if they saw, if they saw the agenda, they're probably already watching and talking about it, so.
How do you handle that with law enforcement? There's gotta be law enforcement.
Everybody just paid.
Well, everybody stays, just like normal, even
The
on.
only thing it affects is the front office.
I was gonna say administrative, isn't it? Pretty much administrative, isn't it?
Yeah. Everybody just picks up extra holiday pay.
Mm.
Or they take a day off, comp day or something. Another time.
You don't empty the jail?
I mean, that not everybody behaves at Christmas, so.
It's really goes up, don't it?
It can. Outside of court order, we don't empty the jail.
That's only happened during the flood that I've known.
That's pretty well it.
I still remember watching that.
Do you wanna see if the fair board guys are out there in the hallway? Thanks, Kristen.
Yep, I'll be back at,
Okay.
There's the fair board right there. Come on in.
Alright. Come on, guys.
Oh, there.
We're out there.
Oh, we got a whole crew.
Sheriff's letting us in, we can go. Alright,
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
oh, okay. I don't know where you want to stay.
You
No,
can sit anywhere
Sit
where
anywhere.
Ron's coat is.
I'm gonna take my coat and leave you guys alone. 1
Yeah.
o'clock.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
You sure you want it? Well, just reminder. How's it going today?
So far, so good.
Well, good. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. Dale's got what we're gonna present to you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
Nobody's
very much.
taking notes.
Oh, come on.
Thank you.
Yep.
I don't know. You go ahead, go ahead. Okay. We're here, we're redoing the grandstand, or been doing a little bit at a time. A couple years ago, we, did the handicap and main, ramp going down the center. We put, that was about, $25,600 into that this fall after the racing season. The VIP up in the front, and then railing going up all the way around. That was real low. Replaced that. And that came up about $30,777. So, you know, the grand total there, what we put in already is around 56,000, a little over. We had the ones that did the handicap were from 2 bids. Another bid, this is a quote for, from Marshalltown. And they really did the work on that, where we did the VIP and stuff. We thought a little better work on it, a little cheaper too, so we got a bid for the rest of it. There's 20 rows all together, and that would be all replaced. And we also got a bid for 10 rows. Want to do it in increments anyway. So I don't know, like Rick Gator talked to you, Rick, I think a little bit
He
about
did.
it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And,
So they're basically taking the boards off
all the wood off.
and putting aluminum in its place.
Yep.
Yep.
We had some sections, wood's getting bad, especially on the outsides.
Well, I think
One thing we got to do too, before we do this, which he's supposed to be coming, we had years and years ago, cement pillars where the frost heaved it up a little bit. And it's probably been that way for, on the north side, probably been that way for 30, 35 years, and it hasn't moved since. But in order to keep everything straight and level and stuff, we can, the guy thought, put this other stuff in from Marshalltown. Thought we can, cut them 4 pillars and layer back down. To
Right now, there's a section that slopes down, probably 10 foot long,
I suppose something like that, yeah.
and the pillars will drop all that down, so everything's nice and level again.
There's a roof on the grandstand, isn't there?
Partial, both ends are open. You know, there's no roof. The original grandstand was all roof, and then years later they put the wings on out the both sides down. And the grandstand's been all wood. We replaced the wood 40 years ago. And now the wood on the outside, but under roof, it could last probably indefinitely.
Yeah, it don't get any dew or anything on it, probably.
Say what?
It don't get any dew or anything on it.
No, huh? That's great. Mhm. Well, we even asked them if we could just, put the steel or the aluminum on the outside, but he wants to go clear across. And then they slide them in. That's the reason why we gotta get all the framework level where they sleeve together. They gotta be, you can't, because, right now it's about 4.5 inches off that frost heave shoved out. And it's peculiar, it's all steel welded. See, this is all homemade. 1953 was the first year after the war years that you could start building recreation stuff, which I didn't know until. And then our Jim Peterson had the lumberyard at that time, right here in town, and he furnished the lumber, he and his brother-in-law, for the new grandstand. The guy from Missouri put 3 grandstands up that summer in Iowa. But it's welded, I mean, this is steel, but when it frost heaves, and it's twisted a little bit, but the boy that did the, putting the flooring down, from this company here, he said that he's scoped it out, that he'll get a chainsaw, he'll cut that steel and whatever's in that re-rod, cut that off, and then drop this down. So he's coming, well, he's probably still maybe a month out yet, but he wants to do it this fall yet. So it'll be interesting because it's all welded, and we got, I'm gonna guess with you, maybe 12 foot in between see there's there'll be 4 piers that hold that side up. So the front one, and then you got 3 other taller ones that they get back. I can't see how that thing's gonna fit down. If not, they'd have to just cut on the post and then drop it down and then re-weld it, which would be, that's a possibility too. But he wants to cut them off, and we're gonna let him try. And then it'd all be level. Now it's, yeah, there's about, what, 4, probably 6, 7 rows that they stagger. But now out in our walk area, are the steps, so they didn't affect the seats at all. But, yeah, that's nice, and this company here, like Dale said, we had a company come and put one walkway in, and they aren't a company should be even in the business, I don't think, against this company. And they do a magnificent job. It's solid and good. Very good people to do business with too.
So the frost lifted this up? Or it's-
Years ago.
Okay,
I remember, and it broke, the frost moved that whole grandstand, some spots, and it broke a couple of stringers inside that were down underneath there. And we welded them back up, and that's never done it again. That's been, that's over 40 years ago.
so if you cut these off and let it drop down 4 inches, what happens this winter, we have a hard winter, won't it shove again? You don't think it'll move again?
It's never moved again. Why? It went up once.
It went up 4.5 inches and stopped.
Well, I don't know if it did it all in one year that far, we can't, but,
This is mainly on the north side, 4 pillars on the north side. Where,
I'd call it the wing.
yeah. there-
yeah,
Yeah,
it's the wing of it.
yeah.
The rest of it's further south.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That helps.
So I guess,
It's like you guys, you're down there in that good warm country.
The other night we met with our promoter too, and he's been doing a lot of upgrades out in the track and stuff like that, and he has a few more. He's gonna put new fencing in front. He's having, these sprint cars this year, he's going to probably only have 1 or 2 of them, but they want, when they race there, they want, they like the track, they like the facility, and maybe come in and have specials. It might be a hub of the 360 sprints. He has 22 events for this year, and he's doing the Hawkeye Classic, which will be a special there. It's an IMCA special yearly event. They want that to get a little more racing in there. And we got the team demo special that's, I've never seen any, but northwest side of the state, Iowa, they're doing a lot of that. They want to come in here and be a hub of the deal too. So a little information on there that's getting a little bigger and a little different areas too, instead of the weekly racing. They're gonna be, like the team demo, that's gonna be the 13th, 14th of May. Hawkeye Classic, which the IMCA, what they wanna do is come back. This is originally where it started, the IMCA did. And they wanna make a hub here where, you know, it's gonna be a special event too, so.
But they wanna do that annually too.
Yeah.
It's a 2-day event, Dale said.
Yeah.
This is where IMC Modified's got started, and they wanna bring all that back to here again, and make call it a party, I guess. I mean, bring stuff back for people.
How many people attend out there on the average? Do you have a clue? A race? I'm not just talking the fairground, during the fair. I'm
Right.
talking for the season.
Just a weekly race, you mean, right?
Sure.
Roughly?
Any idea what the head count is?
He said it was up a little more, did he say he was at 9 something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So somewhere around $1,000, or excuse me, 1,000 people
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
per week
yeah.
coming, okay. And
Now you
so-
get, like the demos, what he had last year, he had 3 of them, and that's full house.
Sure. And what's full house? 1,500?
1,500-1,600.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's just seating, right? Yeah.
Sure.
That's just seating, it's not people standing
Mhm.
around.
So if you got these 2-day specials and stuff, you got, people going downtown or staying overnight or camping or.
So you've got 25,000-30,000 people coming per summer, if you
Mhm.
will.
Yeah.
Slow. Mhm.
Okay, all right. So now, the Fair Board is a nonprofit entity, is that correct? And I
Correct.
mean, it's got nothing to do with Benton County, is that correct?
Correct?
Okay,
Well, there's property taxes go to the fair,
okay, I don't know how that works,
to some degree. I don't know how much it is, but
There's what?
there's some property taxes that go out to you guys.
We give them an allocation every year.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, yeah,
Yeah.
I totally understand.
And
Yeah,
that's
thank you.
more or less for the 4-H stuff, so it
That's what it
provides
is.
funding for like the ribbons and
Mhm.
more for that kind of thing,
Sure,
so.
wasn't that, so, do you know what that amount
It's
is?
like 26,000.
I was
We
gonna,
do
s-
that
I thought it was somewhere around
payments, right?
25,
Yeah.
but, yeah,
22.5, is it?
Yeah.
22.5?
23 or 26, I don't remember.
Okay.
One of those, but we do it in 2 payments.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then from the state, we get 10,000 too.
Yeah, it's per Iowa code
Yeah.
to do that.
do you get a part of the, admission fees or anything of this nature? Looking for ways to fund this, is what I'm
We
looking.
got beer sales,
Okay,
and then we rent the track to Drips
okay,
per event.
yep, all right.
I like the fact that they don't charge admission to the fairgrounds. Like,
Oh, definitely.
As far as a carload or something of that nature, you mean, or?
Main
No.
gate's free.
like for 4-H stuff and that, just to get into the fair. they-
Sure, there's not a gate fee.
Right.
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
So see, we really don't, excuse me, but we don't really, fair time, we don't earn any money except if the promoter has a event out front. Otherwise, it's all gate to gate. See, we don't charge, no gate charge, and other than, we don't have any other income.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Originally, years back we did, we had that's what, I think that season ticket was only $3, but it was still
Yeah, I
it was a
remember.
bigger pain than anything, because we'd have to get ticket sellers and then control your gate, and people love it now. They can come and go,
Yeah,
and especially for, parents, they had to bring a bale of hay in, or a bag of feed, or something else for the, in girls 4-H. You'd have to explain that all at the gate and then try to get in and over. Now, just go.
Sure.
yeah, it makes it a lot simpler.
I guess what you should come right out and what you're here for, ask. What's your thoughts, I should say?
Yeah. I guess it's kinda up to you guys. We're just throwing this out to you.
You're looking for help to fund this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
All right.
I guess that's,
all right. You're looking for how much help? 100% or a portion of?
that's up to you guys.
Well,
Yeah, you
Kind of
got-
depends
We
what your
would-
bank account's like. I know what ours is like.
Yeah. just be truthful with that lost funds, you know, we thought maybe something like that, or, don't know how you guys are on that, but,
I do know with the state auditor right now too, with not giving to nonprofit organizations, they have bigger stipulations going on. So, I've been advised, like, when we do these giftings,
sure,
that we need invoices to pay off of, instead of, like, that original allocation is different than what this would be. We would need, like, say they want you to pay for the west entrance, you know, specifically.
Sure.
So that we have documentation of what that money actually went to.
sure.
So we have a paper trail.
Is this something that lost revenue funds can be used for?
We have before, cause we helped do the cattle barn,
Mhm.
and, you know, Dick brought me all those invoices and stuff at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah.
but I know that's just, it's a big topic right now at the state level,
Okay.
with counties and tax dollars going to nonprofit, so, you know, we have to be careful on that too.
Well, yeah, we just have to have a paper trail.
Yes.
Make sure we know where it's going
Yep.
and how it's being spent, every penny. So, okay.
And this don't have to be, all 1 year thing either.
Is he holding the price then, other than for 30 days?
To what, I guess what I asked him too, I says, you know, we had a quote a year ago, or was that 2 years ago? Right, 2 years ago. And the same thing, what he was gonna do would have been $158,000, so that was 16,000 higher with everything going on. But like he said, and even where we did the VIP, it was just a little bit less than he quoted us. Cause he said the price of everything's, labor's not, but the price of aluminum and stuff like that's going down a little bit. There's a chance,
It's going down?
yeah,
Price of steel's going up.
yeah,
And this is something too, like you guys did not put in your spending authority currently.
Yep.
So when we're working on the next fiscal budget too, if that's something that you guys wanna commit to, we need to know as well.
Well, I got a rough idea where the lost revenue funds are, dollar and cents wise, and we've always tried to maintain a certain balance there. In case
Some of
something
that you
comes
guys
up.
approved for that Norway too,
Yeah,
already, so. Just keep that in mind as well.
so this we would be looking at for the next fiscal year? Is that what
Unless
you're
you
saying?
wanna amend, because we did not
Have the spending
plan for
authority
that,
for this?
Unless I could move it around within our service area as well too, so I would have to, I would need the amount, for sure.
sure.
So I added the installation of the materials together, and I came up with just freckle over $170,000. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Now, if you look, and I talked to him too on this, the 10 row, if you do it that way, it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's
Not much.
83.8, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's just one of those, deals where we're
Makes no sense.
looking for ideas, you know, that way. But
Sure.
I did look in some, and it's hard to find grant people, I don't know. The ones I've done already that, you know, they come close to this, and that's, and you know, the way things are now, going around to try to raise money that way, that's,
Well, there's no doubt that when it's called the Benton County Fair, you're a nonprofit organization. It's got actually nothing to do with Benton County, but it is a reflection on Benton County. There's no doubt about it. I was totally unaware that the county did not own that prior to getting on the board. You know,
You're not the only one, Rick, there's a lot.
getting on the board, I got educated a little bit there. But, you know, there's a lot of people go in and out of that facility. there's no doubt.
Now, I did read last night that, if the society, Benton County Agricultural Society would go down, or, you know, couldn't make it anymore, it would be your Benton County's property.
Sure, if you were insolvent.
Yep.
Yeah, it would revert over to Benton County.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, we have stockholders, but they'd be out. I mean, that's just a gift, that's,
Sure.
and the people that bought stock
yeah,
at $10 a share, I mean, it was just a donation, and we still sell some stock. You know, somebody just wants to, the honor of participating is what it amounts to, which is great, love it.
just as a thought, have you thought about visiting with the promoter to see if he would increase the rate of his ticket in order to help compensate some of this cost?
Well, like I said, he's made a lot of improvements out in the track, and he is gonna put a cement barrier on the second turn there,
Sure.
and,
Fence out, catch fence out front.
yeah,
All work.
He put some of his own funds into it.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
done a lot.
cause he sees what's coming up and wants to start that, especially with the sprints, and even with the regular racing, you know.
Sure.
It seems like every year the speed gets a little bit higher, and,
Yeah.
and he's looking at a lot of safety deals out there.
Well, I don't know where we go from here. You know,
Really, to be honest about it, you almost gotta include it in next year's budget.
unless you do some amending, as Haley said,
And there's publication costs with that too.
yeah, I mean, so
Well,
that's,
you know, next year's budget is June.
right.
I mean,
When are you planning on starting on the bleachers?
Whenever,
We can get the funds.
yeah, fun.
Or find the funds, you know, I know.
Are they willing to let you like pay a certain amount down and then,
Well, it is, with this others, and this is the same way too, it's 50% down when we order them, and 40% on delivery, and 10% when we're done. Now, like, as far as fixing the grandstand, we're gonna do that.
As far as leveling it,
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
we got that on
that's what I
but
thought.
our budget's already included in that.
That's the way Rick explained it to me,
Mhm.
yeah.
So do you have any money at all to put towards this
Yes,
project?
we got some.
how much you got?
Let's see. Oh, we can probably go with 30,000. Yeah.
Well, that beats a jab in the eye with a sharp stick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are doing a good job.
Do you
No doubt
think
about it.
it'd be to talk to maybe Pioneer? I guess I'm looking at it, if you're gonna run the, you know, the grandstand, similar like, down at Cedar Rapids, used to be the Five Seasons, you know, and how they get a promoter to kick in money. And not so much Pioneer, but any kind of seed corn company or, you know, we don't have no big business, in my opinion, here in Benton,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, but, you know.
So you're thinking of having companies advertise and put billboards out along the fence or something of that nature?
Well, the you know, they keep renaming the Five Seasons Center because US Cellular, you know, kicks in a bunch of money, you know, and I don't know what it's even called this week.
And we do have, the signs out there already, there's several, that are helping what, Rick Tripp's got going out in the track and stuff. There's seed, there's car.
He basically gets that.
Yeah, he gets that then.
He goes out and gets it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that promotes him for getting work done at the racetrack.
Well, we get a tiny percentage of it. It's pretty tiny.
So they're looking at basically $140,000 to do it all. And I don't know why you'd wanna do just half of it, honestly.
Well, that's good thinking, Rick. I'll agree with you, but
But I know it's the dollars and cents of it.
it's money. It depends on how much money you can.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd have them draw it up that way and just,
Because if you did half of it, you're gonna start either the top or the bottom, and you're gonna do half that way, not just the ends and then the middle.
it'd be from the bottom going up 10 rows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what that 10 rows would do there would be where you enter into the grandstand. That'd be taking care of 2 more safety reasons on that, just like we did the whole outside.
sure.
Everything turned out good.
Where do we go, guys?
There's 20 townships in the county.
I guess we'll have to look to see what's left on the loss, cause I know Norway wants it for their fire truck.
The EMS revolving loan, and that fund has like 120-some thousand in it.
The lost revenue.
The EMS revolving loan, but it reverts to the lost.
Yeah.
Cause that
I
gifting out of
was
that.
thinking the lost funds is,
Cause you gift the 10% out of that.
I get it. But the 10% isn't gonna amount to $140,000, so, yeah, okay. All right. Well, I think we should probably look at it and then give them an idea when we should
What do
get
you,
back at them, put it back on the agenda or something.
you guys got money now, do you anticipate any more money in your account before you do this, or?
No. I mean, yeah.
Can you guys get a loan? Have you approached any of the banks to get a loan?
No.
No, you can't get a loan, or no?
No, we haven't approached
Well,
it.
we could get a loan, yeah.
But the only thing with that is paying the loan off, you know.
I feel, I'm gonna say something, and I feel like a lot of the things I say anymore, I gotta put a disclaimer out there. I like the county fair, okay? But you folks have gotten a lot of money through the years, and you still don't have any women that are members of your board.
Yes, we do.
You do now?
Yeah,
Good,
We have it.
good,
yeah.
good, because in the past you haven't.
How long ago?
Well, when you were here, when Terry Hurdle was here, asking for quite a bit of money then.
Fran was.
Oh, we had,
And then,
It's not very representative though. If we were to go through the numbers and through the years, it's not very representative. And a lot of times we don't get a good financial picture of what's on your books. And we have a lot of good nonprofits in this county, that could use money. We have a lot. Okay? And normally folks that come in here before they ask the board for money have done some exploring of what their options are with the private sector, local banks.
no, we never,
oh,
I
we had,
guess to go work and have a county fair to have debt,
And
it'd be, you know,
well, a lot of people have a little bit of debt and the interest rates are still awfully low. And would this be, and I apologize because I didn't come over for this topic, but it piqued my curiosity, as you say.
sure.
Would this be something that you're getting a loan from the county and will repay? Or are you just looking for an outright donation?
we're looking for an outright donation.
Okay, that's kind of interesting, because again, we have a lot of really good nonprofits that do a lot of work in the county that don't usually get that. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this quote's good for 30 days, it looks like.
And it's probably
Looks like it's about over
12,
with.
16. No, that's weeks, okay. Yeah, it's probably about.
Oh, 10/31.
Yeah,
10/13, I'm sorry, was
Yep,
the date of the
10/13.
quote. Okay, well, you are over it.
yeah,
Yeah, okay,
but, you know, we could, I
Sure.
can get a hold of them and.
well, I think if, did a little homework as far as seeing what's out there, you know, and I guess even if it was, thinking outside the box, even if you did get a loan, and it was X amount per year to be paid back, and we looked at, you know, lost revenue funds to help offset that every year for the next 10 years. That's not a dumb idea either.
Okay.
So, you know, rather than just writing a check,
Sure.
you know, it's just thoughts. You know, you think we should have them come back in 2-3 weeks? What do you think?
Well, they should explore their options. I'm kinda like Dave, see if they can find a bank, or somebody.
And maybe even a bank would, like you said, just the Sandbank of Benton County, you know, sponsoring this grandstand or something, you know. I get that too, or however it may be, but yeah, thoughts. I mean, those are good thoughts. So,
Haven't we on several of those townships that have come in through the years, I'm talking past years, seeking funding for, fire trucks and such? Haven't we in some of those years loaned the money to them?
We have that little revolving loan fund.
And then they repay it?
We're
But-
doing that with Norway currently, we already approved it.
Okay. But we're not hearing that proposal from you folks, that you'd be repaying the money? You just want it out now?
Well, I guess we're up to, you know, any ideas you guys got too, we're, you know,
This isn't,
no, we aren't just saying we just want it given to us. But, yeah, if something like that, I guess I never even gave a thought if you know, like what Rick said.
Yeah.
If, you know, you guarantee so much a year and then we have to kick in too, and that way, if we can make it that way.
the more people that go through, the more beer you sell, and the higher your revenue, you know, that also helps.
that's
So,
right, that's
yeah.
what we have to do, that's what we've been working at.
Okay.
No, we just, you know,
There's also companies out there that will assist you with fundraising. You get a lot of county you can fundraise in.
Well, with this quote already being expired, you know, I would recommend that maybe you pursue a few other options as well. Come back to us, you know, with other suggestions. I think, rather than just say, no, let's talk.
now these fundraising agencies or whatever they are, where do you get hold of these people or?
To tell you the truth, I think where I would start would be with the Benton Development Group and sit down with them and ask them for suggestions. But we've all seen, you know, GoFundMe pages, you know, Cedar Rapids has a couple cemeteries that does that fairly routinely.
I can get you Kate's contact if you want.
Yeah,
Lynn County Humane Society, they're always fundraising. And although, yes, I know we're not Lynn County, the thing is, it is the Benton County Fair, and, you know, you do have all those townships and all those fair patrons out there, and the races are very popular. You know,
There
in
you go.
addition to the fair.
a little bit, or, you know, from before too, warm up, and maybe I don't approach them right or anything, but, it was, you know, $100 here, or $200 here, or whatever, you know, it was, we had some people, you know, some fertilized places or something like that, you know, they're free,
Okay. Sir? Okay, I think we got a game plan for you guys. You can start looking into
Okay,
different options and
yeah, well, thank you for the
Yeah, thank you.
ideas that way.
come back and visit us, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, just for sake of numbers, if you do anything with numbers, you need 140,000, and I understand that, you know, that quote's expired, maybe the price is gonna go up, but we have about 26,000 people in the county. That's, you know, if you did it per head, that's $5.38 per person in the county. Now granted, we know not everybody's gonna make a donation, but fair is fairly popular.
And we did have just one example, you know, we did the beef barn. We had one person went to work and he was gonna give us 5,000 to promote and stuff. And we didn't, do the specs of his way of doing things. I think it was a foot off on he thought it should be a foot higher, so he took his money back then after the fact.
Okay.
You run into them, you know, I'm just saying, you run into them situations too, you know.
He never actually, from what I've heard, he never took the money back, he took his pledge back.
Money. We cashed his check,
You had the money and then you returned it to him?
Yeah.
and then we give it back to him, yes.
Okay. Well,
That ought to be kindness, hadn't it? To him.
well, it's something, that for sure.
Okay.
That's right, yeah.
Well, there's things in life you live with and things that you accept or that, yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, guys.
Yep, well, thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks for your ideas. See what we can come up with.
We shall report back.
Okay.
Good day.
Hey.
See you, Dale.
Yeah, we did.
Share that Brian said too about nonprofits. You just gotta be careful when you say gifting, if it's for a public purpose.
Okay, Rick, we're behind schedule, but I'll let you take over.
10 minutes. So, we'll come back, see if we can work out anything on the pay thing or not. So, I don't know what you guys were thinking, if you were going to, or how high we can go, or.
Well, this is, the note here says possible closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5.
I was just curious if you had to discuss figures in private, or,
Well, and I pulled that up.
okay,
It's amazing what you get off of Google, you know, and so I pulled it up to see what was and et cetera.
yeah,
And there's also one that came up under that section, 21.
okay,
It came up as 21.9. It says exempt session is a meeting to discuss strategy concerning employment conditions of employees for a governing body who are not covered by a collective bargaining unit. And so, I don't know, are you familiar with 21.9, David?
I am.
Okay. It says the purpose of this exempt session is to allow government bodies to formulate its position on a term or conditions of employment, yada, yada, for non-union employees. But it says it does not fall under requirements of the Iowa Code Chapter 21 for a notice or tentative agenda. The minutes or other requirements do not apply.
That's correct.
Okay, so does that mean that we can go into like a closed session and discuss?
It's actually an exempt session, and if you were gonna utilize that, it would be my recommendation that you folks meet with your head of HR.
That's why we hired her, yeah.
Outside of, you know, the presence of the applicant, if you will, or the people coming over, and you basically discuss the strategy involved in what's being requested. Because, you know, typically you don't do this mid-year. And you're gonna be dealing here shortly with a lot of other employees coming in. And, you know, there's some things that I think the HR director would like to say to you in private if she could, not in a public meeting. And that's why 21.9 exists, because you're dealing with a non-union contract situation. You can meet for basically, you know, to discuss strategy and how you approach topics like pay increases. You know, a pay increase for one may affect others, you know, et cetera, and, you know, part of what you've done is you've hired Kirsten, you know, for her experience in these areas. If you're gonna utilize section 21.9, that would give you folks the opportunity to meet with her and kind of hash out certain things and where you'd like to go in the future. So it wouldn't be a bad idea at all. It'd be a good idea.
And the reason I started looking into this, I've been approached by other people. Hey, if you're gonna do midterms, we've got 1 or 2 employees we'd like to have you consider. And it's like, this is the can of worms I was afraid we would open up here a few months ago. And so I realized that Kirsten, you know, we hired her to basically act as the, well, not act as, she is the human resource person, where these employees should be going to her, not necessarily us, on an individual basis. If they don't get things worked out, then they come to us. And is this kind of correct? That was my understanding when you were hired.
But then with the state, it was that way. Your human resource director was the one you went to for everything, before it went to anybody else.
Okay.
And that's what was different with this, it was different here when I started, so.
So part of my concern, or not, and this is not Justin's specific concern, this has just been happening, is that people get things on the agenda and there's not really a policy or a way to have things mitigated ahead of time. So like in last week's meeting, you know, it was brought up, oh, we've done mid-year raises for other people. Well, I was able to do some research and figure out the situations behind those. And they are different. I don't always think that this is the place to discuss those previous situations, as they do concern other current employees. And we almost, you know, something was almost said last time that wasn't necessarily true about somebody else's raise. But anyways, so, you know, we need to have some future or some policies in place to figure out how to handle this. And I can second what Rick has said, because I've already had people come to me and say, hey, my salary seems low, what's going on? So I feel like we need to have a plan in place and reasonings behind why we're doing things to be able to justify and sort of mitigate future risk. Some of the things that, you know, to talk about the risk, I don't really want to say them in a public forum, but just some things that, you know, I've discovered since the last meeting, and just possible ideas of what we need to do moving forward.
Well, as in the past, whether this was before Tracy or not, you know, we've had people come forward and say they would like, you know, their wage looked at and would like an increase. And so most of those we've said we do this at a certain time of year, you know, and it's not whether or not the individual, in this case Justin, does or does not do a good job. That's neither here nor there, you know. It is just that we've had, with exception of a few extenuating circumstances, you know,
extenuating?
a time, well, you know, I don't know, you know, you were
I
told
got
that,
thrown into a management position, whether I liked it or not.
but you've not the only person that's been in that position.
Correct. That was.
Yeah, there's other people that have had to step forward as well. We had that just recently with the Treasurer's Office, you know, so, yeah, it's, you know, it's the thing you do is you step up to the plate.
I did.
And you did a good job, and we appreciate that. You know, and I know that you were told you would have a review for, you know, looking at your salary. The bottom line is you weren't given a time frame on that.
Right.
you know, and is 3-4 months the time frame, or is the time frame at the beginning of a fiscal year for a new budget? You know, that's pretty well what it amounts to. You know, I really hate to get into a whole lot of, because, yeah, there's, just like it was said earlier, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of individuals that watch this and say, oh yeah, I've already been hit up, so I don't know where you wanna go with this. You know, to go further, I would like to do it in a exempt closed session, and I don't know how we do that, so.
Well, I
Just
think,
go into closed session like you do.
No, there's a difference.
Oh, okay.
A closed session, according to this, you know, you keep minutes and you record it,
Yeah.
et cetera. And exempt, you don't.
I think actually under that, section 21.9, what you should consider doing is, and before I get to the part where I think you should do or consider doing, let me back up and say, you know, there's one part about this that I've never liked, okay? Whether it's Justin or anyone else coming over and having to put their case on in front of the public. Even if you go into closed session, there's still a certain part of it that's still in public. And, you know, it takes some guts to come over and subject yourself to this. I've never liked our process. I think that someone like Justin that stepped forward deserves to have a pretty quick answer. But I think that the best way to proceed would be to table this for a week, schedule an exempt session meeting with your head of HR, and talk about what your strategy is gonna be going forward. It wouldn't just be a meeting, as I would envision it, to talk about Justin. You'd be talking about what's your strategy gonna be in January when you start to meet with the different departments and pay increases and things like that, and how are you guys gonna utilize your HR professional? One of the things, just in talking to Kirsten the other day, you know, Lynn County and other counties don't do it this way, where we make the sausage here in public. You know, it runs through HR. And again, a large part, at least my understanding of why Kirsten was hired, was to bring that expertise that she has into the mix. But if you guys don't, you know, you don't have to use it, I guess, or utilize it, but it would seem like it would be smart to have you folks schedule an exempt session meeting with Kirsten. It's not subject to the open meetings law. You know, someone should keep notes, but I imagine that would be Kirsten. You don't have to report it, you don't have to do minutes. It's not open to the public. And depending on your schedule, I would believe that could probably still be scheduled maybe later this week.
Does this have to be voted on by the board to do that?
Not necessarily, but you could certainly do that today, that you're gonna hold a meeting pursuant to 21.9 of the Iowa Code, you know, later. You could, you don't have to. But I think that, you know, I guess as I'm formulating, you know, the vision in my head, you'd be coming back to this issue fairly quickly, because I don't think that an employee, and in this case Justin, you know, needs to be left hanging.
Well,
You know.
and I agree with that. Well, you become the guy, center of attention, but, you know, you this week, who is it next week? You know, I've already got 3 or 4 people, so do we just start taking them, you know?
And that's something I think you should
And
maybe,
just,
if I could, Rick, if maybe that's something you need to sit down with Kirsten, because I know from talking to Kirsten has other information for you folks. And not just, you know, regarding Justin's situation, but, you know, how the county approaches this whole process. She's not wanting to necessarily do that in a public meeting.
Right.
And again, you know, you've hired her and she reports to you. You got a lot of expertise sitting over here that you could really tap into. And you may find that it streamlines your process going forward, not just with Justin, but with all the other county employees. And that's what 21.9 of the Iowa Code, that section would allow you to do.
what do you think?
I'm all in favor of doing the 21.9 meeting this week.
So we got an answer for next Tuesday.
All right with you, Justin?
Has to be.
Well, like I said, if it's not Justin today,
I understand that.
boy,
I think that, Justin's situation is a little different than most employees in the county.
how?
Well, again, if I could, if you were gonna, I mean, if you wanna proceed today, then you should honestly consider going into a closed session rather than doing this in public. If you're gonna allow yourself to table it for 1 week and meet with your HR director, then I would suggest that some of this discussion should be in her office, you know, without everyone watching the sausage get made.
That's true.
That's what I feel.
I'd agree.
How do we set up time?
I'll reach out to you,
Okay.
and you guys can kind of let me know your schedules for later in the week, and we'll get it hashed out.
Just, yeah. Hate being a bad
Oh,
guy, but
Well,
It is what it is. I'm not being a bad guy, and I'm gonna say one thing, he walked out, you know, the search committee that filled the maintenance director position said that they would recommend at the appropriate time that Justin be considered for a bump up in pay for all the stuff he's doing. And I don't think anyone on that committee, I know I was on that committee, I haven't changed my opinion, that should happen. The question is, when does it happen? Does it happen now? Or do you guys, you know, create a policy that establishes how and when you do this? Or, as Gary has suggested, maybe there's a unique situation here that means you should do it immediately. But all that being said, you know, I come over here and I say a lot of things, but most of it is, what's our practice gonna be? What's our policy gonna be? What's our county procedure gonna be? It just seems like this is a pretty big question that comes up every year. Why not try to work out, now that we have an HR department, what the practice and the policy will be going on?
Or why do some employees get contracts and others don't? That's been brought to my attention a lot too,
yeah, that's true.
because then they're guaranteed a certain raise. So
Yeah,
I have employees that are already thinking that way too.
yeah.
well, that has to do with some of the other benefits that are a little outdated that I'm working on trying to get updated. That takes time, but.
But like I said, that's,
Well, and I think that's why we hired her, is because she needs to get some cohesive normalcy, you know, but, yeah. And,
But the simple answer to the question of why are we having contracts is because we need to update the handbook, and we are not on a competitive, and I know Kirsten's working on that.
yeah,
We're not on a competitive footing right now, and we have departments that can't hardly hire anybody, you know, with what Lynn County is doing.
And
we're not Lynn County, so.
Yeah, but when you depend on employees and Lynn County is able to hire them away, you can't get them, you have to be concerned with your competition.
well, that secondary roads is running into that competition. They have people leaving to go to work for private contractors.
And I know that people like to bring up, like, for instance, in this meeting, well, why do we have a contract? But my God, my goodness, we have really discussed this through the years. Anybody that wants to go back and look at the actual contracts and have attended the meetings or read the minutes knows why we do the contracts.
I'm not stating it for my purpose, if I'm
Well,
saying
no,
other employees
Yeah,
ask.
and you're
I'm
right.
just saying, there's reasons for this. Now that you've got an HR professional, you know, it seems like this would be a good time to utilize her
Put it
services.
in her court, yeah.
Well, and I've been trying to work on some of the benefit stuff and figuring out what similarly situated counties are doing and are looking to do, and I have a lot of contacts that we've been going back and forth on stuff. It just takes time to try to get things laid out, plus I have some other, just regulatory things I need to change with benefits, et cetera, so it all takes time. So that stuff I hope to adjust, so we won't need contracts moving forward. It just takes time to get all your ducks in a row to get the pieces, to bring them to you guys versus piecemealing stuff out and trying to chunk some of it out at once. And I have quite a lot of other benefit and just different things, so it takes time.
you'll get,
I'll reach out to you guys and see what your schedules are, and we'll get it,
The sad part of it is, at the current time, with inflation the way it is, if we were behind before, we're getting further behind now.
That looks heavy enough, why don't you just throw it to me?
thanks, Kirsten. Thank you, Rick.
Yep. You gonna give me that contract? Is that how you work? You wanna-
Thumb through it, I haven't looked at it at all.
Most of it's gonna be boilerplate.
Took about 45 minutes to print it out.
Did you print it off at home?
Yeah?
So, who's got your ink contract?
Okay,
Item 11.
security, yeah. What can you tell me about that?
Well, we had might have been almost 2 weeks ago, security meeting. And this is policy for disclosure of security-related information. Benton gave us another county's, we currently have a policy. And he gave us another county's policy. There's only 2 items that's different from,
Keep talking.
okay, from their policy and
If they
ours.
approve it, that would be one you could have for signatures.
And, you know, I circled the 2, did you,
Yeah, here's what I've done, Rick, if I can just
yeah?
hijack
probably-
your meeting.
Probably do a whole lot better
So
than I
this
did.
is the
Yeah,
proposed
thank you.
policy, and then the current policy, I hand wrote with my chicken scratch, current policy. The only things that have changed are the dates, and then in this section in the middle, under guidelines, we've updated it to include the last 2 sections, which are paragraph 8 and paragraph 9. And otherwise, word for
8,
word.
9, or 9, or 10?
I'm sorry, I was looking at the old one, 10 and 11, thank
Yeah,
you.
okay.
That's the only change, and when the current policy was adopted back, I think in 2018, if that's the date on it, Ben had secured it for us, and the security committee had met and approved it, and then you folks approved it. It's just been updated, and it's been updated again to add paragraph 10 and 11. Everything else is the same, other than dates.
Which is pretty simple, straightforward, basically. I recommend that we update to include guidelines 10 and 11 and the new dates.
And I don't know, maybe you said this, but the security committee did pass it unanimously at the meeting that was like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, I
Or
guess I
almost
did.
almost 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, Tracy, but you did not tell me that this was a front and back thing, so it's actually twice as many pages. as
Yes,
what I was
that's
expecting.
right. You didn't print it off, did you?
Our policy is word for word, other than dates, the same as the one you're looking at, except for item 10 and 11. It's the only thing that is different, other than dates. So I would say, based on the recommendation of the Security Committee, I'd make a motion that we adopt the new and approved policy.
I'll second that.
Give me a minute.
Oh, and I'll also say that authorize the chairman to sign it.
All right, we got a first and we got a second. Call for a vote.
Aye.
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 Thank you for all your work.
Sign. You'll have to sign it. Okay, reports.
Nope.
Have some next week. If I,
Do they come all at once?
yeah.
Okay. Any new or old business?
What's your, schedule looking like for next Tuesday? I mean, if you have an idea, you look like you're booked pretty solid next week.
Don't know.
For Tuesday?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
I'm probably gonna need about an hour of your time. I'll contact the auditor and get on the agenda.
Okay. Alrighty, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And seconded.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.